All right, Libras, welcome into your monthly reading, and this is for December. And so we're wrapping up the year. Let's see what this last month of the year brings for you. Obviously, it's an energy of kind of wrapping things up, doing a review of the year, right? Like as we get to the New Year's Eve, like reviewing the year, looking at the year ahead, but like, what did this year bring you? What did we learn? What can we take forward? What can we leave behind? What changes can we make? November was a great month of a ton of retrograde energy. There was a lot of planets in retrograde. So it was the perfect time to really reassess, review, take stock at where we're at. And the same thing, like the energy of wrapping up the year, like what do we need to change? What needs to go? What's our new focus? Also realigning to really always check in to say, is this aligned with who I really am? Is this aligned with my truth? Has my truth changed? What is my authentic truth? Things like that. So there was a lot of deep dive into the emotional realm, and Libras as air signs, you know, it may not be the most comfortable for you, but it doesn't matter if we're an air sign, water, earth, fire. The point of this physical experience is learning to grow and expand in all of those different elements. So if we're not as comfortable in the emotional space, how do we get more comfortable, right? How do we reconnect more with our emotional side? For those of us that aren't great in the, mental scape, what do we need to do to balance our emotions and our, mental space? How can we connect more to our passions, to be inspired? How do we utilize our frequency, our energy to create? That would be more fire. All right, so a quick look at the astrology for you, Libra, specifically in December. You're going to have an active third house at the beginning of the month. So this is around communication. We also have Mercury going out of retrograde the end of November. So we're still going to be in that shadow period in the beginning of December. And the shadow period just means that, yes, the planet's going direct, but it's like the energy has to wane a bit. It's still there and it kind of just subsides. So there's still going to be a little around that, but you're active in that house. So there is going to be a lot of around communication and connecting to people, maybe your intellectual space, things like that. So it's going to be kind of a busy beginning of the month for you. The full moon arrives on the 4th, and that is a full moon in Gemini. Again, that communication sector. So this could be a time to kind of rest and rejuvenate your mind a little bit. Don't be too much in your head. But the new full moon is about, okay, what do we need to reassess? What do we need to remove or get rid of to then bring in, new stuff here? Let's see. We have then Mercury moving into Sagittarius on the 11th. Same thing. Mercury is Gemini and communication, so there's still a lot of around that, but this is a time to have some more lighthearted energy conversations, but also maybe taking time out to adventure or do some fun things that kind of align with your intellect, or maybe you're more intellectual and like, to have fun or do things that kind of spark your knowledge or wisdom growth. So take the time out to just have some fun or adventure or do something that sparks your interests. And then Mars will enter into your kind of domestic center on the 15th. So there's a new focus on like home and family. Also, the week of the 21st, the Sun and Venus are in your 4th house, which is the same. It's the house of family, stability, parenting, family. So there's going to be more of a focus from the mid-month through the end around family, which makes sense when we also have, Christmas coming up. And you might just feel more like a homebody, wanting to do things with family and stuff with your house. And then let's see what else. So you'll have a Venus-Neptune square around Christmas Eve. So this can be a little bit, there may be a little bit of resistant energy here, conflictual energy between relationships and like how people are feeling and how they're acting out. Because Neptune is about, you know, deep unconscious stuff, deep emotions. And when it starts to conflict with Venus, that's like a relationship sector. There could also be some constraints around money as well, which can cause a little bit of maybe fray with people's moods. So just watch out for that, I guess, around Christmas Eve. But you're going to be the referee. You're going to be the one who's going to be able to be balanced and grounded because you're aware and can approach it differently. All right. Before I dig into the reading, again, as always, if you're interested in a personal reading with me, you can schedule one on my website, which is linked below. If you're newer here, or just need a reminder, this is a general read. Again, it's for the collective of all Libras out there, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. So this may resonate with you. It may not. It probably won't statistically every single time you watch a Libra reading with me or any other reading, but also look at your Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus signs all, at least on my channel. So you can go watch, if you're a Gemini moon, go watch the Gemini reading, and that may resonate with you if this one didn't. Okay? And as the holidays approach, I got some good gift ideas for yourself or for others on my Etsy shop. So these are metaphysical tools that I hand make. They're all, I do energy work on them, so they are all primed and ready for you to use and can support you in any of your goals or intentions in your life, anything you're going through from an emotional standpoint. If you're going through grief or loss, if you're just going through some healing work, if you want to manifest things or bring in money, bring in a relationship, if you're trying to, you know, protect yourself from negative energy, there is stones out there for you. So go take a look. All right, let's dive in here. So the first thing we're going to look at is your past energy that's influencing you as you come into the month. So we have Transcending, Atlantis, and then Grace and Gratitude. Through gratitude, joy expands. So this Transcending card, there's a couple cards in this deck that are really more spiritual aligned, and this is one of them. So when we think of Transcending, you could also use the word ascending. We're transcending from a spiritual, energetic standpoint. So we are growing, expanding our consciousness. There's a lot of new information coming in for us, new awareness. We're able to see things in a new way because of our shift in frequency here. And I think this is on point for you Libras in December. Or sorry, this has been something that's been happening leading up to December in the past. And I feel like you have a lot to be grateful for. I feel like you're feeling a lot more of that grateful energy. I do, Libras have definitely for you in the last couple months have seen the energy shift for you guys. You did had Libras had a theme going on most of the year through the summer. And since probably the end of summer, I really feel like this lightning of energy, like maybe something was really holding you down. I do, if I remember right, or just tapping in, I feel like there was some sort of karmic situation that really you were kind of trying to work through, learn the lesson, and close up. And now because of that heaviness is off and that focus is off, that now you're able to focus on things that are really helping you to expand in a lot of areas of your life. Okay, let's get some tarot. So we have Page of Pentacles, exactly what I just said. There's the lesson that you've learned, and you're able to take the value from it and move forward and be grateful for looking back. It's almost like you're able to have a new perspective because you're not so emotionally entangled, where you're able to be grateful for what that experience brought for you and the positives of it. Because I do feel like there was some positives. There was something where it expanded something in your experience, but you know, maybe it didn't work out or it ended up being difficult. But there was value in it, and you're able to take that value forward to now create a new experience in the future for yourself. 5 of Swords and the Emperor. So I feel this lesson could be about you, but it also could be about like the people you're bringing into your life. But this is a very hardcore, kind of stubborn, masculine energy going on. It's like a need to control the way things look, the way things are in your reality here. So if that's your pattern, or if it's a pattern in relationships that you've attracted, I definitely feel like that's the past now. But this is something where you definitely need to like have major discernment, but also major awareness of how these patterns are mirroring what's in you and how you can shift and connect. I almost feel like you need to connect and balance more the feminine energy here, because there's a lot of, this is very masculine and like more of a controlling type energy here. All right, let's see your current energies. Higher consciousness. Look at this. These are what I was saying. These are 2 of the cards in this deck oracle that are very, you know, very high level spiritual energies, and you have gotten 2 of them. So you have higher consciousness, Sirius, Pleiades, and Arcturus, and then finding sanctuary, opening up to your spiritual source. Yes, you are really getting tapped in and turned on this month. I even feel like your why can't I always lately have been really stuck talking about the chakras, but your the top chakra. Why can't I say it? I don't know why I can't. Yeah, this is your not your third eye, but the chakra on the top of your head. Crown chakra. There we go. I feel like your crown chakra is really being activated. Also your third eye. But going back to the astrology this month, there's a lot of Mercury energy with that air and communication. I do feel like it's really opening you up in new ways to your, how you're communicating. And I'm also getting your throat chakra. So this could be how you're putting yourself out there in regards to your words, or your expression of creativity through your words. This could be in writing. But you are really finding sanctuary in a higher dimensional way. So you could be really deep diving in the spiritual space and really being drawn to more spiritual, metaphysical things. I also feel like meditating, but like setting intentions for your meditation to connect to your higher self and to get, you know, guidance or downloads. I think you're going to get a lot this month. 9 of Swords. As we just talked about that, where is the overthinking here and the anxiety? Judgment. 8 of Cups. Interesting. So there could be a current situation that you're kind of really trying to make. You're at a crossroads here in your life where I feel like you're trying to make some big decisions or figure out what your next move is. But I feel like you do hit a point where there is like, you have to make a decision about something, and you could be racking your brain over this. There could be some fear about kind of what that looks like, right? If you make this decision, what does that look like? There's a lot of unknowns here I'm feeling as well, so that could be causing you to overthink or be a little anxious. The 9 of Swords can also refer to like a never-ending nightmare, or like a Groundhog's Day where you're kind of stuck in the same, and it's kind of like driving you a little mental, and it's like you just feel like I need to make some different decisions for myself and make a change here. Definitely. So that's your current. Let's see what's coming in for you. What's future state here? So we have Magic, Glastonbury, Britain. I like this card, obviously. Who doesn't like magic? Rejuvenating Rain, clear the past and heal the present. So this represents, again, the emotions, right? The rain, the water, clearing, purifying our emotional body. There is something about facing something from the past that you haven't fully integrated here. And if you're kind of looking at, I feel like this situation currently, the Nine of Swords, Judgment, Eight of Cups, also is tied to this. So there's something maybe also lingering that you're still carrying energetically that also you need to, that's keeping you a little blocked. But I feel like there could be magical, kind of miraculous ways that you can move through this. And this goes back to like asking for help, setting intentions out to your higher self or your guides around. If you feel like you're blocked in some aspect, ask for help to identify that, or to also, bring me whatever, a person, healing methodology, or just give me some awareness or guidance on what I need to do to overcome this. To get past this, there's like a hurdle that you just continuously keep, I feel like, kind of getting stuck over, like you keep tripping over it and you're just like, I'm not getting anywhere in this aspect of my life. So let's see what's coming in. The Hermit, Knight of Cups, and the Five of Wands. So Knight of Cups usually references some sort of love or relationship piece, but that could just mean like someone writing in, offering some sort of offer, right? Cups can be an offer, something that's really fulfilling for you, makes you happy here. But I do feel like there's a lot of introspection still happening, but this is what's coming in. So you've done a lot of deep introspection work. Usually in the Hermit card, the light in his lantern represents the star energy. So it's like your northern star continues to guide you even through periods of darkness or where things aren't necessarily happening or movements happening. And you're still focused. Just keep your focus on what is it that you really want. And that's like your northern star. And the same thing in this, both of these cards, actually. You see there's like a star above here at the top of the card. I feel like that's guiding the energies in the card of like, to stay focused and to stay stable no matter what presents itself, because the Five of Wands can be a card of conflict and competition. But I feel like as long as you have your steadfast focus and don't let like external forces like pull you off your energy or your stability, I feel like you're going to be good here. There could be a lot of people vying for your time, your skill set, something like that here. And that's maybe what this offer is. There's a lot of offers coming for you, Libras, here. All right, and lastly, let's look at the good stuff. What's going on that's good for you guys in December? So we have the Sun card. I mean, can't get any better than that. I feel like the Sun really improves the energy of any of the cards in the reading. So ultimately, I feel like the sun is shining on you this month. Desert Passage, trust there's a divine plan. So there's this sun that's guiding you, right? That whether it's your northern star or the sun, I feel like there's a potential impasse here where you're setting out into kind of unknown territory. But I think the Sun card is kind of saying like you're protected, the sun shining down on you and on this path and on your voyage ahead. And there is some sort of divine plan that's playing out for you. And I feel like maybe you're going to start seeing this happening in December. And lastly, let's see what we got. Ace of Cups. Oh yeah, new emotional fulfillment, a new beginning. So this is new things coming in that are filling your cup. Okay, and cups is your emotional body. So a time of fulfillment for you. Seven of Swords and the Fool. With the Seven of Swords and the good stuff, this is more about like strategizing a plan, because you are setting off on a fool's path here. I do feel like you're making some decisions about doing something different in your life or moving ahead in some new way. But I definitely feel like what's fueling you is eventually something really is like, this is what I really want. I mean, this is going to fulfill me. And that's what you need to be focused on when if you're making any big decisions this month. Don't be too impulsive. That's another thing for December, especially mid-month. Be careful not to be too impulsive, or just like something can show up and be all shiny and sparkly, but it doesn't necessarily mean just like jump on it without thinking. I think there needs to be some sort of thorough thought process and strategy and like understanding the details. But I do feel like there's some big opportunities opening up, and this just requires some strategy about how you move forward in a plan. In the normal Seven of Swords, in like the Rider-Waite deck, the standard kind of art, it's an individual that's actually running away and stealing swords from an army. So it's almost like it's stealing its swords from its enemy to avoid conflict or obviously a battle or turmoil ahead, so that their enemies can't use them against them. So I feel like you're kind of also too trying to strategize about like, how do I move forward with the least amount of conflict, or like using my wits and my intellect to gain the higher advantage moving forward here. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's a positive thing here. I think it's guidance to help you when it comes to your next projects or next chapter of your life. I do feel like there's a lot of people vying and for something you have to offer here. And it's more, again, you just got to be smart, right? Like, how do I keep the higher hand and gain advantage so people aren't taking advantage of me? That could also mean like if you're trying to go in some new business strategy for yourself or work line of work, like how do I get the most out of getting compensated? How do I, work smarter rather than harder, right? And how do I gain the most and use my resources to have, maybe it's passive income coming in or something like that. So Libras, I think, definitely there is some speak to romance. So you could have a potential for a new romance. Maybe if you are in a current romance, this is about reinvigorating or redefining like how we're going to come together in relationship to improve the relationship moving forward. Or like I said, new coming in, but there's definitely something here on making some new big decisions and redirecting your path. Because something has been a little stagnant for the Libras. And let's just see, quick before we go, the Nine of Swords, Judgment, Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, definitely things, it's like there's been some progression for you, but I feel like it's not fast enough for you, and you're just like, I do feel like you just decide, okay, the way I'm doing things or where I'm focusing my energy, like it's not the best for me. And again, there's where the reach strategizing of I'm going to approach things differently and start something new. Because I feel like the old thing you've been putting energy into maybe hasn't fully produced what you want it to. What's the Eight of Cups? Eight of Swords. Yeah, feeling a little stuck. You're walking away from anything that's holding you back from your goals and dreams and desires. Knight of Cups and the Five of Wands. Page of Cups. Yeah, this is an offer. There's definitely offers coming in. Seven of Swords. Six of Cups. This could also be just shifting your patterns here, because the Six of Cups is about the past and maybe like your belief systems or behavior patterns because of your past. But this is about re-looking at that from being highly aware and being more objective to shift, right? To shift, and how do I need to shift my life to produce different results? And what's this about the Five of Swords, Emperor? Justice. Yeah, that you definitely went through some sort of karmic situation or experience this year, or even, you know, just looking back at the past, you know, it could have been going on a long time, but there was a karmic situation. You have closed it out. You have learned what you needed, and now you're shifting out of that and able to kind of create new situations that aren't the same energy. All right, Libras, you know, I'm really loving everyone's December readings. Things are definitely lifting. So the energies are lifting. So I'm really loving it. Libras, you have a great December. I am going to be putting out a 2026 yearly forecast for all the zodiac signs, probably sometimes later next month. So look for that. It's going to be exciting. We get to look at the new year. What are the themes? And also I'm going to dive into an extended where I'll specifically read on your love and romance for next year, and also your work and career. So you can join the extended and get a lot more detail in that. All right. Well, have a good month. Enjoy your holidays, however you celebrate, and I will see you in the next reading.